Hey guys, what's going on? Ro here from Fractured Studios, bringing you my first Adobe After Effects CS5 tutorial. All the things I'm going to show you are very basic, and you can do them on any version of After Effects. I'm going to be showing you a quick color correction tutorial. If you've seen any montages, Halo, Call of Duty, whatever, you probably know what color correction is, because it's pretty important, and so that's why I decided to do a tutorial on it. I'm sure there are others out on YouTube, but I'm going to just explain it to people that are very new to After Effects and wanted to see something. And what I've got is not exactly professional. I made it pretty quickly, but I like how it looks. It's kind of a dark red tint sort of look, and I'll let you take a look at that for yourself. So really not a whole lot into it. Obviously there's a lot more that goes into making a clip look good than just color correction, but it's one of the basics, so I'm going to show you how to do it. That being said, I'm going to try and go through it pretty quickly because the last video I made was like 10 minutes long, and you subscribe to me because you like hearing me talk, but not for that long. That's just too much. So we're going to open up After Effects here. I've got CS5 open. We're going to hit Control N to open a new composition. We're going to call this Color Tutorial. We've got our aspect ratios at 1280 by 720 and our frame rate at 59.94 because that is the size and frame rate of my clip, and you want to make sure that that matches your clip. If you capture on a Dazzle and it's not HD, just make sure these match. We're going to hit OK. Now what we're going to do is hit Control I to import a clip, and we are going to use the same one that I had for the video you just saw. You're going to drag it into your timeline, or you can line it up here. I prefer to do the timeline though because it lines it up right, and sometimes I'm not great at that. Now you're going to hit Control D. You don't have to do this, I'm just going to show you this. This layer we're going to leave the just normal, and this one will color correct, so you can turn them on and off and see the difference between the original and the color corrected one. So let's get into it. You're going to hit Effect, Color Correction, Curves. Now curves is going to be your main color correction tool really, outside of an interface if you're doing it manually like this. I usually prefer to do it manually, not use magic bullet looks, just because I don't know, I just feel like I like how it looks if I do it all by myself, but I'm a big kid, I can do it by myself. Anyways, so this allows you to change the highs, lows, and midtones of the various channels in your clip. If you don't know what these technical kind of terms mean, just look them up or message me, whatever. So you'll see that this, you can lower and raise the lows and the highs. So we're going to lower that a little bit, and then this, same sort of thing, but adds a different kind of look. And we're going to make a mild little kind of an S curve here on this channel. Really not a lot going on yet, but you'll notice it does add some contrast. Next we're going to go to the red channel, and since we want a red kind of tint on this clip, we're going to go like that. You see how this goes to blue and this kind of heads toward red. We're going to make a very light movement, just move those up just a little bit so you see that red sort of coming in. Green I don't like to mess with because that usually screws things up for the colors I'm going for, but mess with everything. I mean, the tutorial is not a copy and paste kind of thing, it's just kind of a guideline, so really just go in and mess with your settings and see what you like, see what looks good to you, because that's really all that matters. I don't like using the green, but you might, so go check it out. Blue, this is what it adds if you go for the extremes of both sides, and what we're going to do is add a very slight kind of S look like we did in the first thing. That might be a little too yellow. Alright, like that. And so if we go back here, you'll see this is our color corrected one versus the original. So it's kind of looking a little yellowy, reddish, not reddy, and a little darker. Next we're going to go to color correction, tint. Now tint makes it black and white. It makes all your darks black and all your lights white, which is how black and white works. And what we're going to do is take the black here, make it a really dark red, so you can't really tell a whole lot of difference between the two, but you can tell that this is verging on red. And then we're going to take our whites and make them very light pink. So again, not very different, but enough so it'll help add a red tint. Now this shows you how much you want to tint it. Now we're going to make it really low so it's not looking like total shit. Maybe even more than that, 25. So basically it's going to add a little bit of red, but it's primarily making it a little darker and more professional looking. We're going to do effect, color correction, vibrance, and this you can change the vibrance and saturation, which are very similar. Vibrance is a lot, I don't know, it's kind of like a minor saturation. And since we're going for a dark look, we're going to make it -15, a very low negative. And again, we take that off. It's very, very subtle, but if you look at the yellow here, when I turn it on and off, you'll see it adds a little darkness to it. And since saturation is a little more influencing, that's a bad word, but it makes it more difference. You can see that that's really adding. It's taking away some of the colors from it and makes it look more dark. Alright, finally we're going to do color correction, CC toner, which is similar to tint, but a little more in depth, and it adds a little more tint. Toner does. Toner really is just adding more, it's making it more dark than anything else. So we've got a mid color here. We want to make it a mid red kind of instead of mid brown like that. And same thing where we want to make it really just a light pink. So obviously that looks like shit. What we're going to do is blend with original about 80 or so, maybe even less than that, maybe 75. Alright, so that'll add your kind of red tint. You can do this with any kind of color you want. That might be a little much still. I don't want this to be too extreme. Now, hold on, blend with original more. Not less, my bad. Alright, so you'll see the red kind of tint that's adding. And I'm going to try and wrap it up. These are pretty much the four main tools that I like to use. Curves, tint, vibrance, and toner. But again, there is a lot of stuff to work with in After Effects. You've got all these tools. I haven't even messed with most of these, so I probably have to do that at some point. And it's all a matter of preference, like what you want to do, what you want to look like, what you want your clip to look like. And it's a lot of just playing around to see what looks good to you. And then down here we've got the original, so you can see what it looks like pre-color correction and after color correction. It's looking a little bit too red still. I mean, again, it's just what you want it to look like. But that's very similar to what I've got looking like in our clip here. Also, you'll notice that if you just pause this for a second, up in the corners here I've got some blur, which I might do a tutorial for, but that's easy enough. Basically just masking it and then duplicating it, so you add blur only to the top sections there, and you can do that with the ellipse tool. That was crap. Anyway, well, you get the idea. I might do a tutorial on that later. But that's basic color correction in After Effects. I am Ro from Fractal Studios. Go ahead and click the subscribe button if you liked it. Comment, like, thumbs up, whatever you call it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.